بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear third year students of English section, today inshallah welcome to section number 3 in applied statistics course. I am Mahmoud Mashhoud, teaching assistant at Insurance Statistics Mathematics Department, Faculty of Commerce, University of Sadat City. In this section we will talk about chapter 1, estimation and the confidence interval. In the previous section number 1 and the section number 2 we took the point 1 define point estimation, point 2 define confidence interval, point 3 compute a confidence interval for the population mean when the population standard deviation is known, when the population standard deviation is unknown. Today in this section we will talk about point 4, compute a confidence interval. Compute a confidence interval for a population proportion, and point 5, calculate or compute the required sample size to estimate the population proportion or population mean. Point 4 in chapter 1, compute a confidence interval for a population proportion. They have two formula for a population proportion. The first formula pi equal p plus or minus critical value times square root p 1 minus p over n. Critical value equal z. Critical value equal z. When the level of significance 90%, z equal 1.65. When the level of significance 0.95, z equal 1.96. When the level of significance 99%, z equal 2.58. Sample proportion is p equal x over n, where x the number of success, n the number of sample size. Standard error for population proportion is square root p times 1 minus p over n. Example 1. A market survey was conducted to estimate the proportion of homemakers who would recognize the brand name of cleanser based on the shape and the color of containers. Of the 1,500 homemakers sampled, 210 were able to identify the brand by name. Required: estimate the value of a population proportion. The first question. Second question, develop a 90% confidence interval for a population proportion. Third question, interpret your finding or illustrating the results. Illustrating the final results. Solution: estimate the value of a population proportion. P equal x over n equal 210 over 1,500 equal 14%. Isn't the population proportion is 14%. First question, P equal 14%. Second question, develop a 90% confidence interval for a population proportion. Il P equal 14%, il N equal 1500 at 90% level of significance. إذن Z equal 1.65. The main formula, il pi equal il P plus or minus il critical value Z times square root P times 1 minus il P over il N. By substituting in the main formula, il pi equal 14% plus or minus 0.0148. Then the confidence interval for a population proportion between the third question, we are reasonably sure the population proportion is between 125% and 154% at 90% level of significance. The first question, the first example. The second example, the owner of the gas situation wish to determine the proportion of customers who use a credit card or debit card to pay the pump. He surveyed 100 customers and defined that 80 paid at the pump. First question, estimate the value of a population proportion. The second question, develop a 95% confidence interval for a population proportion. Third question, interpret your finding. Solution, estimate the value of a population proportion. Il P equal X over N equal 80 over 100 equal 8%. Then the population proportion is 8%. The second question, develop a 95% confidence interval for a population proportion. Il P equal 8%, N equal 100 at 95%, Z equal 1.96. The main formula, il pi equal il P plus or minus il critical value Z times square root il P times 1 minus il P over il N. By substituting in the main formula, then the confidence interval for a population proportion between 8% plus or minus 0.0784. The third question, interpret the final result. We are reasonably sure the population proportion is between 72% and 88% at 95 level of significance. Example 3, homework. Example 4, homework. Point 5 in this section, in chapter 1. Calculate the required sample size to estimate a population proportion or population mean. We have two main formula. The first formula to the population mean, n equal z times sigma over e over all square. z الكريتيكال فاليو، السيجما الستاندرد ديفيجن، الاي الايرور، the two formula n equal pi times 1 minus pi times z over e over all square. Note the first formula for main, for population mean. The second formula for population proportion, Example 5. A population is estimated to have a standard deviation of 10. We wanted to estimate the population mean within 2 with 95% level of significance. How large a sample is required? Sig standard deviation of 10, sigma equal 10. The population mean within 2, E equal 2, at level of significance 95%, Z equal 1.66, 1.96. The main formula n equal Z times sigma over E over all square. The main formula. By substituting in this formula, n equal 96.04 equal 97 observation. Example 6. The estimate of a population proportion is to be within plus or minus 0.05 with a 95 level of significance. The best estimate of the population proportion is 15%. How large a sample is required? Solution. The required sample size, pi equal 15%. 95 level of significance, إذن Z equal 1.96. Population proportion is to be within plus or minus, إذن E equal 0.05. The main formula n equal pi times 1 minus pi times Z over E over all square. By substituting in this equation, n equal 195.9216 equal 196 observation. This solution for example 6. Example 7. homework. Example 8 homework. This is the end of section number 3. Thank you very much.